Students all over Western Washington marched in solidarity to protest gun violence today. Their message: to prevent another school shooting like the one that happened exactly 1 month ago at a Florida high school that took 17 innocent lives.
No more silence and gun violence! No more silence and gun violence!
Students from Ingram High School in Seattle kicked off their demonstration with a rally on the football field this morning. From there, they marched down neighborhood streets carrying signs and chanting along the way.
And Tacoma students also walked out of class today. This was a scene from Foss High School this morning as students filed out, demanding gun reform before another tragedy could happen on school grounds.
A passionate plea from students at an Everett high school that was the alleged target of an accused school gunman.
On the same day, 17 people were murdered in Parkland, Florida. Police in Everett announced the arrest of a young man they say hoped to kill many, many more. King 5's Eric Wilkinson has their story.
After a school shooting, we always hear it can happen anywhere. And here at Aces High in Everett, it almost did. In a steady downpour today, students streamed out of school carrying signs bearing the names of the 17 people killed in Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School exactly 1 month ago. These kids are on the front lines of the ongoing assault against America's school children. On that very same day, all those people were slaughtered in Parkland, Florida. Police here arrested an ACES student who they say planned to kill as many people as he possibly could. Here at Aces High, school shootings are no longer an abstract. They're very real. The 18-year-old student arrested had a gun, a plan, and even a date. A killing spree apparently foiled by his alert grandmother.
And all we could do is sit in awe that that would have been us on April 19th of 2018 if his own grandmother didn't call.
We wake up going to school hoping to learn, but now some of us don't even get to come home after going to school due to school shootings.
We can no longer stay silent about this, and we need to unite as one.
What has so many of these students so frustrated is America's seeming willingness to allow the slaughter to continue. But these kids say not on their watch. They headed back to school today armed with a plan and a purpose, grateful that they will get to speak for those who no longer can. At Aces High School in Everett, Eric Wilkinson, King 5 News.
Thousands of students descended on the UW campus where they gathered for an energetic and heartfelt rally.
Seattle's Mayor Jenny Durkan joined them, echoing their calls for tougher gun laws. King 5's Ted Land live at the UW now with more on their message. Ted, good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Red Square here in the heart of the UW campus looked much like this earlier today when all of a sudden hundreds, even thousands of students started streaming down those steps.
They came from all across Seattle. An estimated 4,500 students marched out of their classrooms and into the middle of the UW campus. Student leaders organized this gathering.
Hear our voice now.
And a list of speakers who rallied the crowd, energizing them for what will be a tough fight for stricter gun laws. They want a ban on assault weapons in high-capacity magazines. They want comprehensive background screenings, and they're urging the passage of laws that keep guns away from kids. Seattle Mayor Jenny Durkan joined the group, waved the U.S. Constitution, and cheered them on.
I believe in the Second Amendment, but I've read this thing called the Constitution. And Second Amendment, meet the First Amendment.
We are here today because, oh, God forbid I drink a sip of alcohol when I turn 18, but I can purchase an assault weapon to murder hundreds of people a minute. How is that?
Oh, it's really inspiring, you know, to know that we actually have an impact. Because for a while, we were just like kids, you know, we're just kids, and everything we do is controlled by adults.
The rally remained peaceful, and there were plenty of police nearby keeping an eye on things. The mood was pretty good for both students and the police here. A lot of the kids were taking selfies with the officers. As soon as the rally ended, most of the students went back to class at their schools, but some stuck around and registered to vote. Live at UW, Ted Land, King 5 News.
College students in the South Sound also joined in on the walkout over campus violence. South Bureau Chief Drew Mickelson caught up with them and has their message.
Here at Olympia's South Puget Sound Community College, they took a different approach. More than 150 students and staff members gathered here in the quad and shared in 17 minutes of silence, 1 minute for each of the victims of the Parkland, Florida shooting.
Elena Petty,
age 14.
Student Body President Ashley DeBuse read the names of the 17 students and staff killed 1 month ago today. And following that 17 minutes of silence, students spoke out about getting involved in the legislative process and reminding the students that unlike high school students, they're old enough to vote.
If you need your elected representatives to know how best to represent you and what you want them to do to make a change, then you need to be involved and engaged. And so we're really trying to connect students with that information, with that knowledge that they can do something more than just share something on social media.
The students who participated in this assembly will not be punished for missing class. The school's president was actually here. He was part of the ceremony as well, and he compared the recent call to action to past protests over the Vietnam War and desegregating schools. In Olympia, Drew Mickelson, King 5 News.
School boards in Seattle, Tacoma, and Bellevue have passed resolutions supporting the walkouts, but some students were reportedly told they could receive an unexcused absence. Meanwhile, many universities are supporting students who chose to walk out, saying unexcused absences will not hurt their admission chances. Coming up later in this newscast, a Seattle Pacific professor will join us to give us a historical perspective on movements like this. And a local student who helped spearhead one of the marches will be joining us in studio. We're going to be talking to him.
As you can imagine, student protests had a big presence on social media today. You're looking at snap stories from around Western Washington. Students gathered outside Evergreen High School in White Center over to a silent protest at Bainbridge Island High School. Let's listen in as students in Shoreline chanted to end gun violence.
Violence! No more silence! And gun violence! No more silence!
While kids in Lake Stevens formed a human chain around their football field.